Welcome to the latest edition of Altrincham Talks, the business edit. Today I'm joined by Anthony Josephson of Maskell and Josephson Optometrists. That's us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Paul.
We're here to talk about you, about your business journey, about your business, and a little bit about Altrincham. So let's start by just tell us how you got into business as an optometrist.
Well, I got into being an optometrist before I got into business as an optometrist. So I qualified now nearly 17 years ago, and I worked for a couple of very, very good companies for the first sort of 3 to 4 years of my career, and then decided that nobody was quite doing things the way that I either felt that it should be done or just wanted to do it. And the only way to get everything done my way was to call the shots and to run the business. This will be 2011, 2012 now. So we're just in the wake of the big recession. Looked at starting a business and could not get capital from anywhere to start the sort of business that I wanted to do. Lots of places said start at the basic, grow it as you go. That didn't work. It had to be good from day one. So then I went with plan B, which was finding a practice that did it as closely to how I wanted it to be done, and help them grow and evolve over time. And that's where I ended up landing on Regent Road in Altrincham.
Right, okay. And how long has that business been in existence?
So it's been in Altrincham since 83. So just over 42, coming up for 42 and a half years now in Altrincham. It was in central Manchester for several decades prior to that.
Right, okay. So your role in the business now, are there more of you in the business, or is it...
I mean, there's anyone as me. But so when I joined the practice, there was predominantly 2 optometrists, me and the former proprietor,
right,
Ross Maskell, hence the Maskell part. When I took over the business, he left about 6 months later than that. I employed another optometrist, so that there was then again 2 optometrists, and we've just recently expanded, so we now have 3 optometrists and a team of excellent dispensing opticians and support staff as well.
Right, okay. So just moving back one stage, you said when you qualified, you went and worked in some other businesses. What was it when you qualified as an optician?
Yeah. So I went straight from school A-level into an optometry degree,
right,
and then qualified in 2008, 2009 with a master's in optometry.
Right,
doesn't really open the door to a great deal of stuff other than optometry,
of course. And one of the questions that we often ask business owners is, they're obviously technically brilliant at what they already do, as I'm sure you are and your team are. What kind of education have you had around being a business owner? Because running a business is a skill in itself.
It is, yeah.
And it's completely different to anything that anybody's ever done before. So talk me through some of the challenges that you've had and how you've come to deal with those kind of things.
I mean, I think it has to sort of work both ways. Is that you can be a phenomenal business owner, you can understand how to run a business, but then if you get put into a relatively niche industry, you may have absolutely no idea how to run that. And I see that with a lot of opticians where they're run by businessmen, and they don't really get what goes on behind the closed door, so to speak. And then you get the other side of things where optometrists are being run by optometrists or opticians, and they're not being run particularly well because they don't really appreciate how to run a business. I'm not going to pretend that I've been formally coached in any or most of this. A lot of it has been picked up over time by trying something, learning from it, making mistakes, learning from it, improving on it, and speaking to other people who've been doing what I'm doing either at the same time or before me for a long time, longer than I have, and find out what works. But ultimately, it's not about necessarily what works for the business. My business thrives by offering the best to the people that come to us. So if I understand what they want, then I should, in theory, have a business that works. And, so far it seems to work quite well.
It's interesting because one of the things that you said there, a lot of people don't do, which is asking other people for advice and looking at what works and what doesn't work. So you've got other people who can mentor you from the industry, even informally, just in conversation. It can have such a profound effect on your business. And then if you can get the learning that you need to get around the other areas, it's even better.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing that you said there about creating raving fans of your business, if you've got customers who love what you do and they keep coming back to you, that's brilliant. If they then talk to other people about what you do, you can create a referral business right there with the raving fans that you already have in your business. But you've also got to get them in the first.
Well, that's the biggest challenge, is that we're incredibly good at showing people what we're capable of once they're through the door.
Yeah.
But the big challenge that I think a lot of businesses do, especially those without huge marketing budgets to shout about what you do, rely on Google reviews, word of mouth, testimonials, all these things to effectively just sort of tell people what you've experienced. And when it's the right time, they'll hopefully dribble through the door to come to us.
And there are, it's not although it's a niche industry, a niche sector that you're in, there are a lot of opticians and optometrists around the Northwest area, aren't there? So what do you do differently? How do you attract people into your business initially through the marketing that you do? And what is it that you do differently that would attract them in?
So, I mean, there's kind of like three things to an optician. There's check the health of the eyes, there's prescribe glasses, and by that I mean get the prescription right, and that could be glasses or contact lenses. And then there is the make sure that you're wearing the right product. So that could be spectacle lenses, it could be the cosmetics of the frames, it could be simply the contact lens material, and making sure that that bit's the bit that you need to know a little bit more about the individual without sort of downplaying my role. Getting the prescription right is quite easy. Understanding what to do with it can be incredibly complicated. And that relies on having no limitations in terms of the products and the brands that you can use. We're not stuck with one specific company. We will choose based on the best for the individual, but it relies on having the time to establish that. So what we do in 50 minutes could be done in 20 to 25 minutes, but without the time to bespoke the aftercare, if you will. What is best for the individual? How do we go about explaining that? How do we make sure that we're on the same page as one another? How do we make sure that you know that what you're spending your hard-earned money on is the right thing? And how do you trust us? And that takes time. And time is undoubtedly the thing that is what we give more of than almost anywhere else. With greater time comes a greater understanding of what you want, what you need. And sometimes it's not what you need in terms of, oh my God, I can't see. Yeah. It's what I need in terms of these are very uncomfortable, or they don't fit me nicely, or it's just not the right look for what I want. It can be a relatively superficial need, but superficial to you may not be superficial to someone else. So we have a huge amount of time, and bundled into that time is an extensive array of diagnostic equipment that we've got. There's certainly, I mean, I'm not going to pretend that anything that we've got is unique and exclusive to us, but I don't know anywhere that has the whole array of equipment that we've got under one roof. And it's the ability to do as much as we can on every individual from a screening purpose, and knowing when to offer the extra tests to other people, rather than just doing everything on everyone or nothing on everyone. Or, which is where we fell short pre-COVID, giving you as the patient or a customer the option of going, we've got these extra tests, it's going to cost you X, Y, or Z. Let me try and explain what it's all about. Whereas, we're the experts, and people that come to us hopefully come to us because they trust us to choose what's best for them. So we have one price, and it covers whatever you need to give you the best. So we have all the equipment, we've got all the time, we've got a whole range of extensive services, from your normal eye tests to complicated contact lens fittings, to a brand new eyewear styling studio which only opened a couple of months ago.
Wow.
To a brand new dry eye treatment room which only opened a couple of months ago, to a brand new audiology room which only opened a couple of months ago. So it's all of these different services which complement what we've been doing for decades and decades.
Yeah. I need to book in to come and see you about the years anyway, because Mandy keeps saying, what?
It could just be mumbling. Yeah, could be.
Could be. Tell me a little bit more about the technology, because it seems to have come on in leaps and bounds over the years. I remember when I used to go to the opticians as a kid, it was, just sit in the chair, read the thing, develop their eye, and that seemed to be just about it.
I mean, terrifyingly, it still is that in a lot of places.
Yeah. Nowadays, you get air blown in your eyes, you get sort of various images taken of your eyes. The thing that I found with some of the, I don't want to name any other opticians.
Yeah, there's another.
Some of them are you seem to be in and out as quickly as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And they do these things, but don't really explain what they're all about.
Yeah.
And I think investing in technology is amazing, as long as the customers understand what it is that they're getting for their money.
And as long as the people using it know.
Well,
I've seen it on both ways, where you get really good data, and the people holding on to that data have no idea how to interpret it or no idea how to explain it.
Yeah, and I've seen people use the machine and then they take the data away, and then they wander back in 5 minutes later and say, right, so I've been told this is what we need to do next.
Yeah.
Which isn't a great, so it doesn't fill you with confidence.
It does.
Your insight. So having somebody who's au fait with the equipment and able to use it and explains it to you really thoroughly, it's really important, I think, as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's technologies that some of the bigger companies are using now, Not all of them, but some of them, which is incredible. It allows eye care, decent eye care, good quality eye care, to be certainly more affordable and more approachable to the masses. And the fact that these companies are adopting this stuff is genuinely brilliant for the industry, for the profession, for the members of the public. But it still isn't what we do. A lot of the technology that they've adopted, us as a business adopted 20 years ago, so before my time. And so it's amazing that people are not catching up, but because we're still 20 years ahead of them, but further down the line. But it's amazing that they are finally adopting these things. But then it is about keeping on top of it all.
And as a market leader, you're always going to have people chasing and trying to catch up with you. So you've got to keep innovating and staying ahead all the time. Are you using AI in your practice now in terms of the technology that you're using?
Yes. I mean, AI has been a part of optics for as long as I've been doing this for, but that comes down to more in terms of data analysis. Yeah. So you get a whole load of data, thousands and thousands of scans from the back of somebody's eye. There is no physical way to interpret the raw data. And if you had that raw data in front of you, a lot of it would mean nothing to anyone. So the software analyzes this data and it gives you probability scores. So how likely is this data in front of you indicative of a problem? Or does it suggest that something's changed that could then lead to a problem? So the software does a lot of that raw interpretation, but then that needs to be interpreted by us. So there's a lot of AI going on behind the scenes in terms of that. As a profession, AI will be doing more and more. There's only a matter of time before you can have an eye test done in the comfort of your own house by logging into some system that will do these things. There are already companies, even in the UK, that will offer what's called a remote eye exam, whereby you go into a physical shop, physical practice, you sit there, but your optometrist's not in the room with you. So this tends to be in more remote areas. They'll have an operator in the room that presses buttons and does things that they tell them to do, but actually the person who's giving you all that clinical information isn't with you.
So they know how to operate the machinery.
Well, one would hope so. Right. I mean, I'm not going to suggest that I think that this is the way that the profession should be going. But as things like that evolve, it'll get to the point that there'll be somebody who takes the legal responsibility for your eyes, but they may just dip in and out.
Well, I can see that working if you're in the Highlands of Scotland or on a farm in the middle of the Yorkshire Dales where it's miles away from you numerous opticians.
I could see it working in Altrincham. I could see it working in busy towns or city centres. But what you're going to get from that is probably no better than what you're getting from a rapid consultation. But what you're not getting is you're not getting the human interaction. You're not getting the understanding of it. And whilst AI is very, very clever at doing that, what one would assume, certainly over the next decade, that as that grows to be a massive part of it, it's still not going to be quite as good as a person at doing certain things.
And it takes away that personal interaction.
It does.
You have.
But it's also about not being scared as a profession to embrace AI and going, there are genuinely certain things that AI can do or machines can do that humans can't. All this diagnostic equipment that we were talking about, they do things that the human eye cannot do. I wouldn't be as complete an optometrist as I was, or as I am, if I didn't have access to that sort of technology. So it's embracing it and going, it can support us and it can help us do our jobs better as opposed to just replacing us completely.
Yeah. And somebody said to me, I can't remember who it was, but they said, it's not the AI that will do you out of a job, it's the people using the AI effectively that will do you out of a job. So I think if you can embrace it, and I say this to all my clients, you've got to embrace AI, it's here to stay, it's going to get better and better. You've got to figure out how to use it to enhance what you offer to your clients.
Yeah, I mean, you can, AI is obviously a very hot topic, it's a very trendy phrase at the moment, but you can replace that with just technology in general. Is that every profession has the potential of being enhanced by the use of tech. If you let that tech take over, then chances are if the technology can do what you were doing, you need to learn new skills. One of them may well be to use the tech.
Yeah, definitely. You also mentioned that you've got a studio that's just opened a couple of months ago for people to choose what frames they're going to have. It's the worst part for me about choosing new glasses. And my partner will tell you that she gets very frustrated with me because she'll choose some glasses for me to try, and I go, nope, don't like those, nope, don't like those. And it takes forever to try and get a pair of glasses. The last time I got some, the ones I chose, she went, not sure I like those, and I chose. So it's a nightmare. So what can you do to help people choose the right?
So there's two ways to this. Sometimes people want us to choose for them, or more to the point, sometimes people just don't want to choose themselves. In which case, if they come in and they go, sounds like that way. If they come in and go, I don't know what suits me, I don't know what works. Well, then again, that's when we put our expert hat on and go, this is the sort of lens that you're after or that we think will suit you best. This is the sort of prescription that you've got. So that limits certain options, not all options, but it limits certain options. So we can immediately dismiss this range or this collection. I'm going to find a couple of things that suit you. And hopefully then you'll be able to choose. And if not, we will choose for you. So for people who want us to choose, nothing's really changed. My team are incredibly good at doing that. They can choose something for somebody just by organically having a conversation with you. The styling studio is more for people who want to choose themselves, but want to take a little bit more time to get that right. So again, they'll be guided by us, and it's not just influenced by their prescription. It's not just influenced by their lens designs. It's influenced by their lifestyle, by their hobbies, by their cosmetics, their fashion sense, their clothes. What do you wear? Where are you wearing it? When are you going to be doing this? What do you wear for work? What do you wear when you're going out? Not one pair suits everything. Yeah. I was talking to the ladies here before we started recording, and I've got sort of 35 pairs, of which I wear sort of 8 or 10 in regular rotation. All completely different styles, shapes, colours. Sometimes you can wear a bold frame to clash with what you're wearing because it makes a statement. Other times you can wear a frame that complements what you're wearing because it makes a statement. But the gist of the styling studio is for those who want a frame that really just suits them. They're the frames that are readily available on our shop floor, but it's taking that time again to not just brush into it and go, let's find you a frame, to come down, we'll grab you a little nibble, nice drink, relax in the studio, which is away from the hustle bustle from the rest of the practice, and just spend the time making sure that you're buying something that is really good.
Yeah, and I think that's a real point of difference, because normally if I'm choosing frames, you're in the middle of the shop, you've got everybody else around you, and you've got this wall just full of frames with a brand name over the top on.
Yeah.
And you're just walking up and down, just walking up and down the wall trying to find something.
And our shop structures slightly differently to that. When you have a small range of stock on show and the rest is in drawers for us to help you with. But the premise is the same. There's only so much opticianing you can do. The idea is find a frame, talk about lenses, take some measurements. That's the gist of it. But finding the frame can be incredibly difficult. And I've seen people walking around with glasses that don't suit them. They may not be aware of that. But if I think of that, even taking my professional hat off, chances are other people looking at you do. And I'm not naive to convince myself that everybody cares about that. But I think a lot more people care than they make out. And I think that if they're wearing something that doesn't suit them and they're not actually told that doesn't work, then you shouldn't be the one that's picking those glasses. If you pick up a frame and put it on your face, it's up to the people around you, professionals or otherwise, to go, no, stop looking at that one. Let's find something different. And we're not ashamed or embarrassed to take a frame off somebody's face and go, not that one.
Yeah, and that sometimes I think that's what I need. I wouldn't describe myself as a fashion icon ever. And just to have somebody to give you some advice.
Yes.
Just as you get a personal stylist, somebody else for your clothes, why not do exactly the same?
Well, that's exactly it. So 4 of my team have got a stylist qualification in terms of like colour styling and things like that. And that's the same thing that personal stylists will do. I reached out to a lot of local personal stylists, and there's some fabulous ones in this area. Very little of them have any exposure or experience in the eyewear industry. So they'll style you from the neck down properly. They'll style you from the neck up in terms of accessories, jewellery and all these things. But when it comes specifically to the eyewear, they may accompany you to your opticians, or they'll leave that bit to you to do it. And that's kind of where we step in. And we're not going to style your whole wardrobe, but we will try and find things that complement that to go on your face. And the glasses is almost always the first thing that people look at.
It's interesting, isn't it, that there aren't that many people who have multiple pairs of glasses. I mean, more than 1 or 2 or 3 frames. That there are very few like yourself who have, into double figures of a number of frames. Yet there's quite a lot of people, no names, no patrons, if she's listening, who have multiple pairs of shoes to go with their regular.
Yeah.
Or multiple handbags. Or, I'm sort of talking about ladies in the main here.
In the main here, but not always.
But not that many would think about the face and the facial features and the glasses in the same way that they would about the rest of them.
I mean, you're preaching to the converted. Is it essentially you're absolutely spot on? Is that people will have not just multiple pairs of shoes from a fashion point of view, but from a practicality point of view. Different footwear suits different activities. Different eyewear suits different activities. Different footwear suits different looks. Different eyewear suits different looks. And so it is very much a case of trying to get yourself out of the habit of thinking of a pair of glasses purely as a functional appliance and rather as a fashion accessory combined with a functional appliance, is that, I mean, there are people who wear glasses when they optically don't need them because they like the looks.
Yeah.
And then there are people who don't care about the looks, who just need the glasses. And what we're looking for is people that do the two. So I need my glasses. I do. People sometimes jest with me and go, do you actually need to wear glasses, or do you just wear them because you sell them and they look good? I do need them, but I also wear them because they look good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you do contact lenses as well as more soft.
Yeah.
And you were talking before we came into the studio about the different kinds of contact lenses that you can get from manufacturers.
Yeah.
To the extent now where they're doing something quite spectacular with them around the shapes of the eyes and stuff.
Yeah, so you've got your mass-produced contact lenses, the likes of AccuView, Johnson & Johnson, and so on and so forth. And we've got access to that in the same way as any other opticians. We're pricing for that in the same way as any other opticians. Therefore, it's generally more straightforward or occasional wearers like myself. I will put in a pair of daily disposable contact lenses for certain activities, and then I'll wear my glasses for the rest of the time. But the three biggest things that put people off contact lenses, or rather the three biggest things that mean that those who've worn them in the past have stopped wearing them or can't get on with them in the first place, is either that their prescription is more complicated and it's not available in a mass-produced contact lenses, either their eye shape doesn't suit the majority of contact lenses, or the comfort's not good. And especially as one gets older and the eyes get drier, in certain environments, whether it's air conditioning, heating, women of a certain age typically, or staring at screens all the day, your eyes get drier. Contact lens intolerance becomes a big issue. And so we fit a variety of specialist contact lenses that are completely custom made, which will negate all of those issues. So it will deal with whatever your prescription is. It will suit whatever your eye shape is. It will deal with a lot of dry eye issues so that you can comfortably wear them kind of all day, every day. And this is just sort of quoting two people that I've seen over the last couple of weeks, genuinely a life-changing thing. These are people who can't function in glasses, either because the glasses don't work in their prescription or it doesn't work with their lifestyle, and they've had to drop out of contact lenses because the comfort was a problem, and now they're back in lenses kind of on almost like on a full-time basis, and it's changed their life. It's that sort of thing which takes hours. Yeah. If you look on our Google reviews and sort of catch on the glimpse of some of these things take months to get right, and it takes countless hours of toing and froing, but it gets it right. And we don't promise a quick fix, but we will get there if you give us the time to do so.
I am one of those ex-contact lens wearers because I've now got multiple prescriptions. So, I use one for distance, one for reading, one for screen work, and couldn't get used to using all three of them. It just became too much of a faff, and I ended up putting it to one side. Sounds like I need to come see.
Well, that's it. I mean, again, there's not always one perfect option, but it's about establishing what the best compromise is, and sometimes it's not. Like we were saying in terms of the glasses frames, there's not always one option for everything. You could have a contact lens setup configuration prescription that you wear when you're working, and you could have a slightly different one that you wear if you're going to watch the football and you need to see things impeccably far away, driving at night time, going out socially, or anything along these lines. There's no harm with having several combinations of contact lenses which you choose according to what you're doing. Whereas most people who prescribe contact lenses try to get one that does everything and often fail, and most people who wear contact lenses want one that does everything and often don't get it.
Yeah. Great. We'll talk about how to find you in a second. I just want to talk a little bit about Altrincham.
Yep.
And the BID, the Business Improvement District. Mm-hmm. How do you feel that being within a business improvement district, and particularly how has the Altrincham BID helped you in your business?
I mean, one, I'm talking to you right now because of it, is that I'm very open with a lot of things to do with the business with everybody. And I will sort of openly admit that I don't think the BID has had necessarily as positive an impact on my business as it has on other businesses. But my business relies on Altrincham being the town that it is. And organisations like the BID help significantly make the town what it is. I mean, if Altrincham was a dump, people wouldn't want to come and see us. Is that we're not a business that relies massively on passing trade. We're a business that relies on appointments. And those people that make appointments want to come to the town to do it. So we need something like the BID. We need Altrincham to be as presentable and as tidy. We need a whole array of other businesses to support the town so that people aren't just going to travel, because we have people that travel from all around the country to come to us. They'll travel 5-6 hours, come to us, and then travel 5 or 6 hours to go back.
Yeah.
They're not just going to come to us. They want to mix it up with a bite to eat, grab a drink, go shopping, do things like that. And if there wasn't those things on our doorstep, we wouldn't be able to hold on to those people.
No, I think you're right. I mean, the two main cores of what the bid are there for is, number one, to make it a more attractive place for people to come and shop,
To get around for.
full, and secondly, to make it a more attractive place for people to want to come and work, so you can attract a higher quality of employees. So every business can obviously benefit from that.
They do
as well.
And they do a very good job at sort of shining the light or the spotlight on local businesses as well. So whether it's things like this or just the odd post on Facebook, it's a really good, lovely little bit of PR that any local business then would sort of jump at the opportunity to have, because it's being thrust, for lack of a better word, in front of the eyes of your demographic. Is that whilst it's great that we get people that travel far and wide to come to us, there are people on our doorstep that still don't know we exist. And it's much easier to cater to them and accommodate for them than it is for people traveling far and wide to come to us.
Yeah.
But how do they find out that we exist when we can't get the reach that places like the bid do? Well, we need them for the help.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk to you about that afterwards as well, because you might have a couple of ideas.
Yeah, you are happy to do like.
Tell us how to find you. You've got a website.
So we're on the website. The website is Maskell Optometrists. So that's Maskell with a double L and optometrists with an S at the end .com.
Yeah.
If you type something that vaguely resembles that into Google, you'll find us. We are on Facebook. We try to dabble in TikTok, so you'll see a couple of videos of me on TikTok, but let's not pretend that that's our main form. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram predominantly. We're also on X/Twitter, although that's a bit of a dying media at the moment. You'll find us on all of the social medias with the handle Maskell Optom.
And where do we find you in Altrincham?
So we are on Regent Road, 16 Regent Road. We are in between Randall's Jewelers and Coco's restaurant, facing Pantong Thai restaurant.
Okay.
That's where we've been for 42 years.
Brilliant. One final question. Around business more than anything now, if you had the opportunity to talk to the younger version of yourself, just as a final question, what kind of advice would you give to the younger version of yourself who was just about to go into business as a business owner or business senior league?
I mean, I could say various things that just sound like a cliche from everything else that you would read about these things, but I guess the main thing is purely and simply just to enjoy it. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche and there's no getting around that, but I've always said I will stop doing what I'm doing when I stop enjoying it. There's no point in doing this. There's no point in running a business. It's bloody stressful. It's really difficult at times, and there's no point in doing that if you don't enjoy the majority of it. And so I'd only owned the business for about 18 months to 2 years really when COVID hit.
Right.
And effectively the 2.5 years or 3 years that followed was incredibly difficult for every business. I mean, we were lucky that we had a database of people. We weren't hospitality that was hit a lot harder than us, but it didn't mean that we didn't struggle and didn't have to adapt and evolve. But it gave us the opportunity to adapt and evolve. And I think that a lot of the really good stuff that we've got going for us now came on the back of actually having some time to reflect on doing things that we enjoy more than doing things just for the sake of it.
Brilliant. Anthony, thank you very much. This half an hour has gone really
It has gone very speedily.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
Look forward to talking to you again in the future.
Yeah, I hope so.
Cheers.
Thanks.